Hey, it's Elizabeth with the Weekly Tasting. Thanks so much for getting this pack. Wines I think you have to have. So this pack is for you if you're a person that thinks, you know what, I love my Chardonnays and my Pinots and I love my Cabernet Sauvignon and Sauvignon Blanc, but I know that there's some unusual wines out there. I know there's stuff that I should be drinking. I just don't know where to start or what to get. Well, listen, that's what I'm here for. We're here every week to help you learn something new, but this is a pack that's really gonna push you out of your rut. I don't advise that you drink what you like, because if you do that, you're just gonna get stuck. Yeah, you should drink what you like sometimes, but really you need to push yourself and explore. That's what this pack is all about. It's mixing it up, drinking something new, learning something. So I have 4 really unusual wines. Each is outstanding. The great thing about them is they're not so far out that if you ask someone about them, they'd be like, what are you talking about? But they are unusual enough so maybe you haven't had them before. 2 whites, a Picpoul de Pinet from Languedoc. It's kind of herbal, it's cheek coating, has really nice pear notes to it. A Furmint from Hungary, from Tokaj, which is traditionally a sweet wine, but this is a dry wine. It's honeyed, it's got apricot notes, awesome texture, great acidity, fascinating wine. 2 reds, a Zweigelt from Austria. This wine is like cherries and spice. It's really medium bodied, very refreshing and kind of spunky. And then another medium bodied red, Mencía from Spain. This wine is spicy, it's got some darker notes to it, but also this fresh minerality, great berries, an awesome wine. I know you're gonna find a new favorite among these. I at least hope you do. It's certainly gonna change your mindset and have you looking at new things and new flavors. And by the way, I don't expect you to know how to speak German or Hungarian. I got you covered on the pronunciations. Let's get going and taste. This fantastic wine is the PFAFFL Zweigelt, and it is from Austria. What a fantastic wine. It was created in 1922 by Dr. Fritz Zweigelt. He was crossing 2 of Austria's native grapes, Saint Laurent and Blaufränkisch, and created Zweigelt, and it was the most popular crossing probably of the 20th century. An awesome wine. It is Austria's most important and popular red now. It is refreshing, cherry flavored. It's got lots of spice on it. When it's good, it's peppery, it's fruity, it's really spunky and zesty. It's a fantastic wine. This one is from Niederösterreich, which is the large wine growing region around Vienna. It's got warm days and cool nights, which are gonna keep acidity in the grapes. Let's take a look at this wine. It's a little darker than most Zweigelts that I have seen, just because 2015 was a very warm year, and that's gonna get those grapes, the skin's pretty dark. This is a black plum color, really kind of opaque. You're not gonna be able to see much through it. That's really a testament to the vintage. Give it a spin around the glass and a sniff. Yum! Cherries and cream, iris flower, black pepper. It almost smells a little bit like a church, like frankincense or myrrh or one of those things. It's just really black, peppery, and delicious to smell. So let's taste it. Okay, so you're gonna get all of those flavors, the cream and the cherries and a lot of the spice, but the texture is awesome on this wine. It's lightly tannic, it's super acidic, so you're gonna get lots of mouth-watering juiciness out of this fruit. And it's got a medium body. It's sort of simple on the finish, so it's really refreshing. Especially, I've got this wine a little bit cooler. It's about 55 degrees. Definitely gonna bring out the flavor characteristics and still keep it bright and fresh. Food, you wanna have this with rare tuna or with steak. You wanna have it with eggplant or mushroom dishes, or even some cheeses. It can go well with a variety of cheeses because it's got that medium body. A fantastic wine, definitely one you have to try. This one is the 2016 Charisse Picpoul de Pinet from the Languedoc, rolling hills of vineyards and Mediterranean and sun-drenched areas with little small medieval villages. It's absolutely beautiful. If you watch the Tour de France, they go through this area all the time. The Greeks planted vines here in the 5th century BC, very long winemaking history. And it makes sense why. The climate is very warm, But in the best vineyard sites, you're getting breezes coming off of the Mediterranean, and that is going to allow for acidity to build in the grapes. It doesn't get too hot here because of those cooling breezes in the best vineyards. So you'd expect reds to do really well here, but I gotta tell you, I think the whites are a lot better because they're super interesting. The wine is a straw color, so it's kind of a little bit darker. It's not platinum or anything like that from those warm sun-drenched days. We're gonna give it a spin around the glass and a sniff. Green apple, pear, an herbed butter note, and let's taste it. Now what I get out of this is what I'm calling like a focaccia bread kind of note. And I think what I'm getting that because there's sort of this round, buttery, herbal note to the wine. You might call it grassy, you might call it herbal. I'm getting some rosemary off of this wine. I think there's some kind of this herby, earthy note that I really, really like because that plays really well against the cheek coating texture, this kind of medium bodied, smooth texture. And then the acidity comes in and brightens everything and keeps it fresh. So there's a lot going on in this wine. It's interesting. It's better served a little bit warmer. You're definitely gonna wanna have it with stuff like pan-seared or grilled fish in an herbed butter sauce, shellfish and oysters, goat cheese, charcuterie. All of that is gonna go fantastically well with this wine that you have to try. Well, you didn't buy this pack to be bored, did you? So I am presenting you with the Patricius Dry Furmint 2014. It's a Hungarian wine. The grape is called Furmint. The area is Tokaj. Now, Tokaj, if you don't know it, is a very famous sweet wine of Europe. It was enjoyed in all of the royal courts during the reign of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which makes sense because it's a wine that's native to Hungary. The grape is grown all over Eastern Europe, much because of that association with the Austro-Hungarian Empire. But this wine was very famous for being the gold standard of sweet wine in Europe. Now, this is a dry Furmint, and what I love about this wine is that it really expresses all of the things about the sweet Tokaj in a dry version. They've done a stupendous job with this wine. Let's take a look at the color of this wine that is just so multi-dimensional. It's got historical clout, and it's super surprising. It looks like it's gonna be pear colored in the bottle, but then when you actually look at it, it's a little bit green tinged, a lot lighter in the glass, which has me thinking there might be a lot of acidity in it. Let's give it a swirl and a sniff. It's like honey and honeysuckle and dried and fresh apricot and a little bit like candle wax, and yet it's still got this fresh citrusy note. There's a little bit of melon in there. Let's take a taste. It smells so good. It's dry. It tastes like ripe peach and apricot and like white flowers. And there's this awesome tension between mouth-watering acidity and cheek coating texture. And there's a little bit of bitterness, but then you're getting the sweet fruit. It's an awesome wine, gonna be awesome with roast pork or roasted poultry with an herb rub, or maybe a fig and prosciutto and mozzarella salad, or if you're vegetarian, couscous and herbed goat cheese. All of that will be perfect with this wine. You want a wine that's gonna get you out of your rut and that you have to try. This is it. It's awesome. The Vega del Cuya Mencía 2015 is an awesome wine. Now, this wine is from northwest Spain, a little bit in from the coast in the area of Bierzo, and the vineyards that are up on the mountains are a little bit higher, get these great cooling maritime breezes that help keep the acidity in this awesome grape, which is much lighter than many of the native grapes of Spain, which tend to be heavy like Tempranillo and Garnacha. This has a lightness of being. Now, there's two styles to Mencía, one that really reflects the minerality. There's slate and granite soils here. It kind of lends Mencía that stony mineral character. So there's some wines that are really light and they're just very mineral. Then there are others that are spicy and mineral and berry. So those are a little bit complex and a little bit heavier, and that's what this wine is. I love the spiciness. If you love spicy wines, you will love this wine. This is a kind of a dark red-purple color. 2015 was a pretty warm vintage, so the pigment is gonna come on strong in the Mencía grape. We're gonna get a swirl here and a sniff. So here's the thing. Mencía is not super aromatic, so you are gonna get a little bit of raspberry, but don't be disappointed if you don't get a huge perfumed bouquet coming out of your glass. They're saving it all for the flavor, I promise. Let's take a sip and we will prove that. It's a super flavorful wine. Black pepper, that Indian spice note I was talking about, totally in this glass. Raspberry, strawberry, black cherry a little bit. It's got, as it leaves your mouth, this great acidity and then also this mountain stream waterfall note that is just typical of the Mencía grape. And the moderate acidity and tannin make it so well balanced. This is a trifecta of berry, mineral, and spice that just make an awesome wine. Gonna be terrific with tapas, jamon, or meaty mushrooms, something like tortilla española or papas fritas. A fantastic wine. I know you're gonna love this one. So that's it. Those are the wines that I feel like you have to try because they're so unique and individual. I hope that you found a new favorite and something surprising in this pack. Please give us feedback and be sure to check back on Mondays for the next available pack.